So when you're born into this world in a fresh vessel, in this beautiful, gorgeous little infant child that comes out, has its first breath and comes to life after spending 9 months in mama's womb. But you don't come with a fresh slate. You carry the genetic heritage of your lineage. You carry the shadows, the gifts, all these different aspects that have come from your mother, father lineage, that have come down into the alchemy of you, for you to live and to move through and to really boil down and bring out the magic from. And from the moment that you're born, we're constantly being added to. Our parents add their influence, our siblings add their influence, life experience adds influence. You then go to school, and now school is giving you all these ideas of who you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to do. And TV, movies, everything you watch begins to add more and more. And so by the time we become teenagers, most of us tend to be very confused, because we've often lost touch with the spirit that came into that human vessel. It becomes complicated. And then we spend the rest of our lives trying to make sense of it all. And sometimes it can feel like a big ball of wool or a big ball of string, trying to all tangled together. And life is often like that. It's like you finally get one bit of string free, but in doing so, you've tangled up all this other lot. And so we're constantly doing our heads in, trying to sort everything out. And in that process, we continue chasing, we continue adding, we study more, we try to find out more. And it's this constant process, this habit, this addiction, thinking that for me to be fully human and to live my purpose, I need to add more to me. And something that's become really clear, having become quite the professional at creating complexity in my life and saying yes to everything, is that this journey of awakening, to really waking up to your higher self, your higher purpose and what you're here for, is not so much a process of adding anything new, but rather it's about paring away and cutting away everything that's not you, removing all the noise, removing all the distractions, all the stories and the limiting beliefs that may have found their home in your mind, that are maybe covering up who you truly are. And so, as you'll find in the 23rd gene key, the shadow of complexity, I was listening to the audio by Richard Rudd, and he says, the medicine for complexity is the art of saying no gracefully. And when you drop into this, I realized in my personal life, I've got a very deep relationship with this complexity, that it dawned on me that I didn't feel like I was allowed to say no if it affected somebody else, if it hurt somebody's feelings, if it created conflict, or if I was worried that I might get kicked out of the tribe, for not playing up to other people's expectations. And so I became quite the people pleaser, and no is a very hard word for me to say. But over the years, what I've come to discover and what made it easier to say is when I realized that the word no is not as negative as it might sound. These little pixie bugs. The word no can sometimes feel very negative, but it's not. It's an incredibly positive thing to say. Because when you say a strong, heart-centered no to something, then what you're doing is creating more inner space within your being to be able to hear, to feel, to listen to what is a yes. So by saying more no's in your life, it allows you to create more simplicity. It allows you to create clarity. It allows you to create this opening within you where you can actually feel, who am I? What am I here for? And you'll be able to hear that impulse inside that is telling you, because it's not your mind's decision, it's in your body. So we need to create space for this. And when we say yes, as positive as that sounds, every time you say yes to something, that's another string in your bundle. And then you say, oh yeah, I'll do that. Yep, there's another string. Yes, I'll do that. Another string. I'd love to go there. Another string. And the more things we're saying yes to unconsciously, driven by trying to satisfy some kind of external need for validation or or to please somebody else, or to try and prove our worth, etc., or driven by fear, every time we say yes, driven by these kind of drivers, we're adding complexity into our life. And complexity becomes constrictive and restraining, and it becomes so exhausting. So sometimes we just need to stop and say no. From our heart, with love and compassion, no. And no, and no, and no, and more no. And sometimes maybe it should be a yes, but it's just a no right now, because I need to create some space around me. I need to be able to breathe again. I need to find me and anchor into my core, get grounded and stable. And then, when you're in that stability, when you find that place, then listen and rejoice when you get to say, yes, yes, this is me. And when you say yes, do not say it with a throwaway yes, but mean it. And commit to whatever you have said yes to. Welcome it into your experience, for better or worse, and enjoy the ride. So be precious with your yeses, and be powerful with your no's. And as you move through, you'll notice a simplicity begin to enter your life, that you won't be looking for escape as often as you might have. And sooner or later, you are surrounded by stillness. You don't have to be here in the bush. I was in New York last year in September, amongst Wall Street and Federal Reserve and all the rest. And I said no to a lot of things to get to that experience and be there in that moment. And I can tell you that the stillness that I felt in the chaos was magical. So here's to the power of no. May it lead you to strong personal boundaries, where you can begin to rejoice in who you came here to be and hear deeper into that whispering of purpose.